Unstoppable by Cynthia Kersey. 45 powerful stories of perseverance and triumph from people just like you. Unstoppable. It'll never work. Wrong timing. Don't do it. There's no market. You'll go broke. If you want to find experts, start to do something. In 10 minutes, people will come from all around the world to tell you it can't be done. Something to think about. We are our worst enemies since we know what our limitations are. These female visionaries were capable of ignoring their own internal self talk and functioned on a higher plane of optimistic euphoria. They did not know their limitations and therefore had none. Margaret Mead didn't know that a 25-year-old unaccompanied female should not be wandering alone around the jungles of New Guinea and Samoa. Margaret Thatcher did not bother to ask whether a female prime minister of Great Britain was acceptable to her constituency. Oprah Winfrey was not deterred that Phil Donahue owned the daytime talk show market. They never asked the question and therefore moved into their castles in the sky as if it was their right to do so. Excerpt from Jean Landrum's Profiles of Female Genius. In their own words, I was a mathematics graduate student at the University of California, Berkeley. Arriving late to class as usual, I quickly copied the two math problems from the blackboard, assuming they were the homework assignment. When I sat down to work on them that evening, I found them to be the most difficult problems my professor had ever assigned. Night after night, I worked, trying first to solve one, then the other, with no success. But I kept at it. Several days later, I made a breakthrough and solved both problems. I took the homework to class the next day. The professor told me to leave it on his desk. It was piled so high with papers that I was concerned my homework would get lost in the clutter. Reluctantly, I dropped it off and went on my way. 6 weeks later, on a Sunday morning, I was awakened by a pounding on the door. I was startled to see it was my professor, George. George, he was shouting, "You solved them!" "Yes, of course," I said. "Wasn't I supposed to?" The professor explained that the two problems on the blackboard were not homework. They were two famous, outstanding problems that leading mathematicians so far had not been able to solve. He could hardly believe that in only a few days I had solved them both. If someone had told me that they were two famous unsolved problems, I probably wouldn't have have even tried to solve them. It goes to show the power of positive thinking. George B. Dantzig. George Dantzig is a professor of operations research and computer science at Stanford University. 45 powerful stories of perseverance and triumph from people just like you.